The president managed in the span of 2 paragraphs to be condescending as a matter of race and insulting as a matter of gender. Here we have a veteran African-American reporter who's covered the White House, who is categorically respected. And he says to her that, first he acts like he's not aware of the Congressional Black Caucus, which is the oldest such caucus on the Hill. And then he says, well, he hasn't met with them, but he'd like for April Ryan, a journalist, to be his scheduler and secretary. She is a veteran journalist. That is insulting, both as a matter of race and as a matter of gender. And so, is he saying that with respect to other caucuses on the Hill? Is he saying that with respect to the male journalists? This is ridiculous, but it is a metaphor for the president's views on race, generally speaking.
The network that she works for, that April Ryan works for, advertises itself as the only African-American owned radio station. In other words, it's all about being African-American. So in that context, he asked the question. This is the problem here. I mean, I used to think the Congressional Black Caucus, when it was first formed, was a good thing. I've changed my mind on this. I don't think there should be any caucuses in the House of Representatives that are divided by race. I mean, heaven forbid, if David Duke got elected and wanted to form a Congressional White Caucus, that would just be appalling. Appalling. Okay. This is where we get into a problem, and it's got to stop.
Cornell?
Sir, Jeffrey, I'm looking for a word here beyond, it's completely preposterous to compare the Klan to the Congressional Black Caucus. The Congressional Black Caucus
dividing by race.
It's not a matter of dividing by race. It is a matter of affirming racial justice issues.
White Caucus.
Beg your pardon?
You would be okay with a Congressional White Caucus? Really?
I didn't say that. What I would be comfortable with is a caucus aligned around issues, a caucus aligned around advancing the concerns of groups that are frequently locked out of the process. That's how the Congressional Black Caucus came into being. And frankly, sir, you should apologize for even putting the Klan and the Congressional Black Caucus in the same sentence.
No, don't go there. That's not what I said.
It's not a matter of going there, it's a matter of having heard that.
What I'm saying to you is there's no room in the United States Congress for caucuses that are divided by race, no matter the race.
But sir,
there's no place for it. It's
sir, let's get back to what the president said. The president didn't seem to recognize the oldest such caucus on the Hill. The president then speaks to a veteran journalist and suggests that she schedule a meeting. I'm not entirely sure if he is aware that the network that she represents is African-American owned, and that, frankly, is beside the point. Her job is to cover the news. Her job is not to act as an emissary or messenger or scheduler for the president of the United States.
Jeffrey, the only thing she has in common with people in the Congressional Black Caucus is that she's black. So, I mean, it's essentially, isn't it saying, I mean, when I saw it, I was like, he's asking one of the few African-American people in the room if she knows the people on the Congressional Black Caucus and can therefore she make a call and set up a meeting. It just seemed odd,
this is exactly where we get off track all the time. I mean, she is a reporter. She is a journalist, period, full stop.
So is her job to call up the Congressional Black Caucus and set up a meeting for the President of the United States?
No, of course it isn't. But it's her network's job not to advertise itself as African-American owned.
What does that have to do with the President of the United States and what he said?
How many Irish
this is the ultimate distraction.
It is total distraction, Jeffrey.
Come on. Who she works for says nothing, I should say, who she works for does not in any way undercut the fact that she is a journalist.
She's a good journalist.
She's a good journalist, and therefore she should be afforded the respect of a journalist.
The president didn't know what the CBC was. Do you think he knew what network April Ryan works for?
I honestly don't know. I mean, at this point, he's doubtless getting to know the White House press corps. I don't know.
Okay.
Get your Trump hats, Trump hats.
I trust, he's going to make America great,
What better way to support him than buy a hat?
I think they brought some divisiveness, but I think they made people pay attention, made people wake up.
I got him for 20, he's got him for 30 right there.
This is the hottest thing out there. This hat, you can't get him.
Thank you, and God bless America.
I had a meeting with him
in December. It was before the end of the year, before he was going to head down to Mar-a-Lago. And he had decided at that point he was going to run. He said one of the worst things he ever saw was Mitt Romney trying to push the cart with the jeans on. He's like, that's not the way people want to look at a president.
Mitt Romney ran from his wealth and hid from his wealth. And we knew that part of our strategic value was to actually go and talk about the success that Donald Trump has had and show that that's what the American people want.
Over the years, I've created tens of thousands of jobs, and I'm very proud of that. I think it's great.
It was a smart lesson to take away from the 2012 campaign. One of the problems in that race was that the campaign talked to the American people as if they were sitting in an economics class.
I have 5 things I'm going to do, and
rather than living in the day-to-day struggles or challenges presented by the economy.
We don't win. We don't win at anything.
He was in that chair, that iconic chair he has in his office on the 26th floor of Trump Tower, and he looked up and he said, my slogan is going to be Make America Great Again. And he looked up at the ceiling with a smirk on his face and he said, and watch, everybody's going to love it. And he was right.
And we will make America great again.
It was still really unclear where the Trump campaign was going to go because it was going off in so many different directions. He was already insulting his fellow Republicans in a way that we'd never seen before of anybody running for anything of any party.
He's a war hero because he was captured. I like people that weren't captured, okay? I hate to tell you. Do you agree with that? He's a war hero.
I think somebody actually sent us a sample and said, hey, here's an idea, and it just said, Make America Great Again in the hat. And they brought that sample to Donald Trump, and he said, I like it, but let's tweak this, let's do it differently.
The hat itself, did we focus group the hat? No. It was really a coup, and it's one of those things you never know in a campaign that certainly just like clicked.
You had to find a US vendor to make these. It sounds overly simplistic, but it wasn't. We had to go all the way to California. We had actually tried a series of different hats and different letters and different sizes of those before we actually agreed. When I say we, he specifically chose the exact one he wanted, and then we tried it, and it was very, very successful. It was over 100 degrees on the tarmac down there. You know, just for the sweat factor and other things, he chose to wear the hat.
And he just said, well, I'm going to just wear regular type leisure wear, which for Donald Trump, that's leisure wear, right? He doesn't wear jeans or shorts.
We're waiting inside the terminal. It was a crush of reporters, a crush of cameras. He came around the corner and we all went,
Hello, everybody.
because we'd never seen him in a baseball hat before and certainly never seen him in a hat that said, Make America Great Again. It was the first time we'd seen the brand emblazoned on his head. I really remember it vividly because it was like, oh, of course, he's the master marketer. Why wouldn't he put it on a hat?
I'm the one that brought up the problem of illegal immigration.
He's talking about border security. He's already lost Apprentice. He's lost other deals, millions and millions of dollars. And he's just going out there. 1, he's having fun. 2, he's standing up for what he believes in. And 3, he looks, I frequently thought, cool.
We have to have legal immigration.
I started to say, hey, send me the red hats. Send me the white hats. I want to see on a daily, weekly, monthly basis what we're doing. We started to look at these numbers and said, is this right? It's like the campaign, right? It just grows so quickly. It's just a disruptive technology. The hats are so disruptive that people who weren't involved in politics, that didn't have a political background, wanted to show their support for something different. And their way to do that was to buy hats.
This is the best goddamn country on earth, and these hats represent that. Yeah.
There was this great comment by Barack Obama in 2008 election. I remember he said, I'm like the Rorschach test. People support me for many reasons. And you had hope, you had change, and you had that iconic t-shirt. And that was the shirt, and that was what you had to own that cycle. And it was the cool thing because it went outside of politics.
Donald Trump's symbol is his hair. I mean, that's what the cartoonists delight, is his orange or golden or whatever you want to call his locks. But the fact that the hat's connected to the Trump head is part of what's going on there.
What's really interesting about the hat as an object and as a message, as a visual, is that it was undesigned. It was simply just two colors chosen, the red color, the white color, the type. And the type was very default. And yet, that's the thing, that's the takeaway, that's the thing that people gravitated towards. We're not sitting here talking about Trump's logo, we're talking about the hat, which completely transcended the logo.
That's the kind of cap that farmers and truck drivers and other folks around the country wear every day, especially in more rural areas. He was a big city multi-billionaire who was the son of a millionaire, but he was able to identify with this constituency in part because of the cap, in part because he was willing to say, look, we share something, we share this important symbol of how you go about your daily life.
I remember he was criticized throughout the campaign, especially towards the general election, saying you're spending more money on hats than you are on data, on voter ID. It's something that's not going to be replicated the same way hope and change cannot be replicated. That hat was a voter contact. That hat was a walking billboard. That hat was a walking statement. And because of the way the election was so contentious, that hat meant a lot.
Donald Trump! Hey, I got Trump bucks. You want to burn one of these?
It invited attacks from the left in a way that fit right into what I think the Trump campaign and the Trump organization wanted, which is a clash of those two political civilizations that they both believed worked in their favor.
These crowds are terrific. Thank you very much.
That's exactly what they wanted. Somebody who wasn't going to back down in the face of political pressure. And he proved